Every year in the town of Montufar in central Guatemala, the Virgin icon is taken out of the church and paraded into the countryside. The fiesta is a celebration which mixes the Spanish colonial past and the Catholic religion with the pagan rituals of indigenous Indian culture. The dancing moros, a remnant of colonial Spain, symbolize good overcoming evil. For Cristina and René Juarez, it's one of the most exciting times of the year. Not only are they allowed to stay up late to watch the traditional fiesta, but there are also lots of new and exciting funfair rides to go on. After a few hours, the procession weaves its way back to town. And the Virgin icon is returned to her rightful place in the church. No fiesta is complete without letting off fireworks, the grand finale at Montufar, lighting a huge 50-meter long strip of firecrackers. Exploding firecrackers are the climax of every celebration in Guatemala and throughout Central America. Set off at every celebration, from religious festivals to graduations, weddings and birthdays. Cristina is 7 and her brother René is 9. They live with their 8 brothers and sisters in the village of Ayhuix in the San Juan Zacatepeques region of central Guatemala. 2 brothers have already left home to find work in the city. Rafael, their father, is an agricultural worker. The house they live in is owned by their uncle.
Here's where we cook. Here's where we make tortillas. These are our dishes. Water. Here's where Mom and Dad sleep. And we sleep over there. This is the place. Who sleeps there? Me and my other sisters. My older sister and little Olga. This is the altar. It's where my father prays.
Maize.
This is maize for cooking. These are wicks to put into the firecrackers and make them catch fire.
We're counting the wicks, and tomorrow we will put the wicks into the firecrackers, and then the day after my brother Roberto will wrap them in paper.
The 2 children make fireworks. Every day they walk to a makeshift factory where they and their brothers and sisters make firecrackers. They work several hours a day. They have to. Rafael doesn't earn enough as a farm labourer to support them all, and when seasonal demand for fireworks is high, there's little chance of the children going to school. It's repetitive work, and often even crippling.
I'm putting the wick into the tube, and I am about to finish the circle. It hurts my back when I work for 2 hours, and I work hard like this. My sister is doing the watching up and doing what moms tell her to do.
I prefer doing this.
In this region of Guatemala, nearly 4,000 children work making fireworks. Employed at home, they're quick to learn and are slow to complain.
Well, the truth is, the fireworks, the lights, are a demonstration of happiness. It's a way to express happiness, to express joy, to show that one is happy, that you are celebrating. Unfortunately, in countries like Guatemala, that joy is overshadowed by the blood and the tears and the pain of many children who are not old enough to be fully aware of what they're doing. But unfortunately, they have to live, they have to eat, and if they don't produce fireworks, which is the only income, they cannot survive.
Renowned for its mountain ranges and extraordinary natural beauty, as well as its rich indigenous heritage, Guatemala has only recently emerged from 30 years of brutal civil war. Today, it's one of the poorest countries in Central America. Most people exist on subsistence farming, with over 80% of the population living on less than $2 a day. Here, just 2 hours' drive from the capital, Guatemala City, in the San Juan Zacatepeques region, the land is poor, and the main source of income for local families is through firework making. 8 out of every 10 families are outworkers, producing firecrackers at home. Once a week, a middleman visits families to drop off supplies and pick up the finished firecrackers. Israel Barayo inherited the business from his father. There are at least 8 other middlemen like him in the region. He takes the stock to sell in Guatemala City. It's an extremely lucrative business. He sells each strip for at least 12 times the amount he's paid for it. And yet it's a highly labor-intensive production process. First, the firecracker papers are chopped into 2-inch tubes. Then they're tightly packed into a circle. Clay is applied to the bottom of the circle to hold the crackers in place. The highly volatile gunpowder is poured over the circle. The wicks are coated with even more explosives and jammed in. And finally, the crackers are released from the circle and tied into strips. And the strips are encased in red tissue paper.
We stick the label on, and then it's ready to sell.
Each 1-meter strip contains 160 firecrackers. For this, the producer will be paid the equivalent of 50 cents. The story goes that the production of fireworks in the region first started over 50 years ago, when a Spaniard came and taught some local people how to make them. The first official factories were set up over 20 years ago. All but 2 of these were closed down during the Civil War because of government anxieties about who had access to gunpowder. Since then, the situation has become even more difficult to control because now most producers work at home, either in small shacks nearby or literally just outside their back door. Whole families are employed in the business, with children often starting work at the age of 6. Exposed to explosive chemicals like potassium nitrate and gunpowder, there are no controls whatsoever to regulate health and safety, or how much families are paid for their work. Child labor in the fireworks industry is both an economic and a cultural imperative, as father of 5 Luis Kotsohai explains.
The children, if we don't teach them to work, they will become lazy. God knows what will happen. If I die, they will be unable to support themselves. They won't be able to do anything. So I am teaching them to work now.
Luis is right to be afraid. He's working in one of the most dangerous areas of the production process. These pieces of string used to make the firework wicks are coated in highly flammable chemicals. As he cuts them, just one wrong move could create a spark which would make the whole lot go up in flames. Horrible accidents happen on a regular basis. If any one of these circles filled with gunpowder were accidentally knocked by the children here, everyone would be killed in the explosion. Paula Camel and her family live around the corner from Renee and Christina's house.
Here. Here is where Martha and Brian were. And the wicks were there. And something made a spark.
Marta and Brian were burned while playing with the same wicks that Christina and Renee have in their home. Marta is 6 years old.
I'm devastated. It's been 15 days like this. She hasn't eaten or slept. Nothing. She's just like this. She screams at night. Every night she screams and cries, and so does her brother. We can't sleep either. My husband nor me. We just have to continue. What else are we going to do? If we work with baskets, they don't sell. That's why we're still working with this. And if there is no food, what are we going to do? It's a necessity. It's even worse now that she's like this, because we have to pay the doctor.
Every week, every fortnight, once a month, there's an accident. There's a child that suffers. Children are not aware of most of the movements they rely on. They're not aware of the danger they've been exposed to. The results can be as serious as death. The repetitive actions reduce the speed of their reaction. They become physically very slow when they're always doing the same thing. As well as this, they lose social skills. They only focus on the production. It's very absorbing. They don't even have time to play and miss school to work.
So what can be done to change the situation? Currently, only 50% of the community knows how to read or write. Many children are kept at home to work. Boris and his colleagues are trying to encourage families to take out credit to expand or set up new businesses. The idea is that then they could make enough money to be able to send their children to school.
At the end, when we provide them with credit, the people getting the money have to sign the commitment. They commit themselves that the children will go to school and that they will stop producing fireworks. When a child has a wealth of education, they have more chances to get a different job, an activity that won't be as dangerous as making fireworks. At the same time, we're trying to build up the capacities of the local people so that our country, Guatemala, can look forward to a better future with an educated workforce.
Like Rene and Cristina, Oswaldo used to spend his days making fireworks. But since his family signed up to the credit scheme, he now attends school and hopes one day to be a teacher. In his spare time, he and his brothers help their father in the tomato fields and their mother, Hortensia, making baskets. Both businesses have been expanded with the help of the credit scheme.
One day my father told me that we weren't going to make fireworks anymore. We went to the fields and planted tomatoes, radish and cucumber.
We earned more making fireworks because they're easier to make. They're easier than working in other things. But there is a risk. To stop making fireworks, well, you just have to be smart. Maybe you make less money, but you're not in danger.
Now, instead of being cramped over a gunpowder circle, Oswaldo and his brothers enjoy the benefits of going to school and of helping their father in a more healthy outdoor environment. But what if you can't or don't want to do anything else? 24-year-old Timoteo has been working with fireworks since he was René's age. His brother, his father and their extended family of 18 all work in the business. They learned their craft in the old firework factories before they were closed down. Timoteo already has 4 children to support. He doesn't know any other work and doesn't see the economic sense of working in any other occupation.
We usually do it at 6 o'clock in the morning. The most dangerous thing is filling them up, but that only takes an hour. This one is small, but if you lose concentration with one of the big ones, when you're filling it up and you drop it, it will cause a huge explosion. Even with this small quantity of gunpowder that I'm preparing here, it could destroy the wall. Yes, it's scary, but what else can we do? What can I do? I have to do it. There's nothing else. I only know how to make fireworks. I didn't go to school, and that's why I do it. Imagine that I work in the fields. I only earn 150 quetzales. I don't have the help of my wife, and 150 is not enough for the week. Here, instead, with my wife helping me, I get 200 a week.
Henry Archila works alongside Boris, but with families who see no other option but to remain in the firework industry. He tries to encourage them to work safely, more profitably, and not to employ their children.
The project's key aim is to build a factory with all the minimum safety conditions so that they won't carry on working in their homes, with all the risks that involves. At the same time, we are looking for loans to provide them with some capital so that they can buy the materials and make more of a profit. As part of the project, we also need to find them contacts to sell the fireworks directly to, so that ultimately they can earn bigger incomes, and so they won't need to have their children working for them.
I've seen my friends. Some have lost their houses. They've lost their legs, their arms. There was one accident that I remember about 5 years ago, where they have to pick up body parts. Around 5 children died. I really think that things will change with this factory. We need to fight for this, and let's hope that the government too will help us in some way.
The International Labour Organization works through affiliate organizations like ASI and Cominguat to address the problem.
The ILO got involved in this as a response to a request from the government. We're working at different levels: political, legal, educational level, health level, and through community organizations, through encouraging new economic activities. At the political level, we have tried to get relevant ministries to be much more involved. Laws, we have lots, but the problem is how to implement them, to make people take the laws on board, to understand that it's an activity that they shouldn't be doing at home. The fact that the local mayor says that children shouldn't work, believe me, has only happened through hard work over the last 4 years.
The mayor of San Raimundo is now working with the ILO and its NGO partners to lobby for the new factory to be built and to secure greater investment in the region and the creation of new jobs. But he's worried about how realistic it is to think that Guatemala's government will help with policies and funding to support the project and ensure its long-term success.
It's difficult in reality, because people in this government just don't seem to realize that this country needs to have a foundation to grow from. The difficult thing is that they think more of themselves and their personal wealth rather than the projects that will benefit the state.
Definitely, as a representative of the government, in particular the Ministry of Labor, we are not going to deny internal corruption. But let's be honest, there is also corruption in the private sector. They are putting up barriers to stop the eradication of child labor, because they are not letting us collect the funds that the government needs to enforce these projects.
Recaudar los fondos que el gobierno tendría que recaudar para poder impulsar proyectos. Pero necesitamos.
We need resources. We need the class that has the money to help us by paying their taxes. We need organizations from other countries with projects like the IPEC one to help us so that we can solve the problem. It's our people who don't have the money, especially the children, who suffer the most.
Back at home with Renee and Christina, Rafael, their father, wonders what kind of future his children can look forward to.
The truth is that I didn't go to school, and that's why I don't know anything. I can't read or write. I can't read or write at all. Nothing. And I don't know anything about letters. But with my children, yes, I am trying. The oldest and the little ones. I am trying to get them to school if I have money. But if I don't, well then.